into the business of today. Okay. Oh, someone has done that. Thank you
But
very much.
so recording has started.
All
Yes.
right. Thank you very much. Whoever that is, God bless you. Okay. So, why are we here today? My slide should come up now. Just give me a sec to get my slide ready for you to see. All right. Before I proceed, if this is your first time joining a masterclass like this, can you please indicate by raising your hand? Like, we've had multiple masterclasses before now, but if you're like the first time joining a masterclass like this one, present from CAMANDA, just indicate by raising your hand. Just want to know how many people we've seen before, those who are just joining us for the first time. Okay, Adolphus, thank you. Any other person? Okay. Oh, did someone drop their hand? My first time joining a masterclass like this. Okay, thank you. Thank you. No problem. That's fine. Even if this is your first time, don't worry. You can drop your hand. Thank you. Even if this is your first time being a part of a session like this, it's a joy for us to always present sections like this because it gives us an opportunity um, to share the knowledge that is very, very important and essential in this day and age. All right. So today we'll be discussing query with SQL like a pro. I mean, picking up this particular topic, some thoughts ran through my mind, right? When if I say query, does anybody here understand what I mean by query? I think I will start with that. But let me go into this. I'm Emmanuel. I happen to be playing around with data analytics for over 10 years now. I started my career in that. So even if you didn't start out your career as a data analyst, that's fine. But being on this call today, I'll do my best to break things down for you, even if this is your first time hearing the concept we're talking about today. So join me on this journey. You'll be glad you did. All right. I have been playing around in data analytics for over 10 years now. And as I continue to advance in my profession, I realized that it was also necessary to keep sharing this knowledge. So it's kind of a passion thing for me to once in a while put together a session like this to share this essential knowledge. I feel it's very essential, especially for those who need to keep advancing themselves in their own work and career. Okay, so I love to teach, so that's kind of why you see me on a session like this. It's a pleasure to always be here. I kind of make data fun. I think I got so in love in how data works that I'm able to embody it, and then when it comes to talking about it, I don't talk about data like as if it is anything too serious. I try to make it, I'm not downplaying it, but I try to make it look like it's very interesting. You can actually see it from your own point of view, how important it is. And I hope today I'll be able to do something similar for you today. I also love my football. If you are not, let me not talk about the club, but I think from the colors you can see on the screen already, you can already tell me, you can already tell where I currently belong when it comes to my loyalty. Okay. So before I go, what to talk about today is SQL. All right. But before we talk about SQL, how many persons here have either heard of or are familiar with SQL? Or if you call it SQL or SQL, whichever one you are comfortable with. How many persons here? So there is a poll that's currently being shared on screen on Google Meet. So I would like for us to quickly indicate how many persons here have either are familiar with SQL. I am familiar with SQL. Please use the poll. I'd like to see what the result looks like. I am familiar with SQL. Are we getting some results in? I'm familiar with SQL. I've had. I'm familiar. I want to get to the point of I know how to use it. Really, let's get to that point. I am familiar with SQL. If you're not able to answer the poll, maybe you just joined in. The question really is how many persons here are familiar? You can indicate by raising your hand as well so I can see you. How many persons here are familiar with SQL? I'm seeing, okay, I'm familiar with, I see only 4 people have voted so far, have shared their thoughts. 2 persons are familiar, 2 other persons are not. But I know we're more than that at the moment on the call. So I'd like to get in more persons to give their feedback. I'm familiar with SQL. What? Okay, person says is familiar with SQL. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I think that's enough time. Let's not dwell so much on that. So I was trying to understand the audience. You can drop me on to this. I was trying to understand the audience we have here today. But even if you are not familiar with it, you're welcome. What is SQL? Before we even go into the conversation, what is SQL? Structured query language. What does that even mean? Why are we even talking about it? Why does it matter? Why should I care? In a space like where I find myself when it comes to data and analytics, I'm just getting started. In a space like where I am as a data analyst, there are tools that make up that I have to work with on a daily basis. All right. SQL happens to be one of them. All right. By that, I mean, I have Excel today in my toolbox. I have Google Sheets today in my toolbox. I have what's it called? Python today in my toolbox. I have Power BI today in my toolbox. SQL happens to be one of the many tools that are existent today in the toolbox of a data analyst. Now, and each of these tools have their own unique usage. All right. I would, if without taking so much time, I would like you to keep listening to me while another poll will be passed around. I would like to know how many persons here are familiar with each of these tools we have in front of us. In this case, if you're already using Excel today, if you're using Google Sheets, if you're using Power BI, just let me know as well. I'll keep talking. I would like for you to tell me if you're currently familiar with these tools. I just want to get to know the kind of audience I'm dealing with today. So I want to give examples that you'll be able to relate with. So SQL happens to be one of the many tools that are available. Tick all that apply. Yes, the poll has just been shared. Tick all that apply in your case. I use Excel today. I use Power BI today. I use Tableau today. Whichever one the case might be for you, just tick. Let me let me know what you're doing. Let me know how you are doing rather. So I use Excel today. I use Power BI. I use SQL. I use Python. Tell me. So while you're doing that, as an analyst, there are quite a number of tools that are available. And the reason why we have these tools is for different purposes. All right. Of course, the job of an analyst today is to provide insight. As an analyst, what I'm supposed to do for you today, if you ever ask me, Emmanuel, come do XYZ for me, my job there would be for me to help you generate insight, is to gather the data, analyze the data, and generate insight for you. Sometimes clean the data if that has to be done. All right. So as an analyst, my job there today is to provide insight. But in order to provide insight, I need to use a tool like Excel to maybe put the data together. All right. I need to use a tool like Power BI to do my visualization. I need to use a tool like Tableau to also do my visualization. I need to use a tool like SQL to query the data. Now let me talk about SQL at this point. SQL helps me as an analyst to query large amounts of data. If you are using Excel today, you are probably, please, I just want to be sure, what's anyone seeing? I want someone to just quickly unmute their mic. I want to be sure what you're seeing on screen. I want to be sure that my screen is moving.
It's showing, but it's just quick pull.
Oh, just quick poll. I've been wondering
Yes.
because okay, I'm not exactly sure why that is the case. I will go over here. Okay, I see what's going on. Okay, this is what I wanted to be sure. Okay, these are the tools I talked about earlier. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be sure because I noticed I wasn't seeing so much of an interaction. So these are the tools I was talking about earlier: SQL, Power BI, and this is not all, but these are some of the major tools you utilize today as an analyst. All right. Now, when I say analyst, I'm not saying your job has to be defined as a data analyst. You can be a head teacher, right, and do analytics. You can be an accountant and do analytics. You can be a manager of a department and do analytics. All right. You don't have to be, you don't have to have a title, a data analyst to do it. In fact, in 2025, data analytics now is an essential skill, regardless of your role. What does that mean? I should be able to interpret my own data, no matter how small. It doesn't mean you don't need an analyst around you. It doesn't mean you don't need a data engineer and so on and so forth. You should be able to at least interpret your own data, no matter how small. Okay? So SQL helps me. Excel is fantastic. I can gather up to 1 million rows or 1 million and some other thousand in addition rows of data, around 1 million rows of data in Excel, which is good. Google Sheets breaks stops at some point when it comes to gathering his own data. I don't know if you have ever gathered data up to that point, but SQL, right, now helps me in interacting with data that is stored in a place where we call a database. What is a database? It's a large storage, is a system of storage of data that works with tables. Tables are stored in structured databases. All right, that's where the concept of SQL came to play. When you see SQL, when you hear SQL, the concept of SQL comes from something being structured. All right, something being structured. So by that I mean when the engineering of it was, oh, we needed to store data for systems and they needed to scale. But it means oh, Excel will stop at 1 million rows, Google Sheet will stop at a particular point. But what if we had a way of storing data such that reading data from there and writing data to it is very, very smooth? Then the concept of databases came into play. All right, and databases help to store data in a very structured manner. When you go to databases, data is usually stored in tables. All right, and in there it helps to store data even on a faster scale. When you see applications run today, an ERP, your banking application, any application that is able to, any system that is able to generate some information and send back to you, I can almost guarantee you behind the scenes of that particular application is a database, because it helps in storing data in a very structured manner. So myself as an analyst, of course, after playing with Excel, Google Sheet, and all of these other beautiful tools, as you continue to grow, if for those who are currently trading the path of being full-time analyst, you'll find yourself in a space whereby you're not dealing with large amount of data that Excel cannot handle, Google Sheet cannot handle, right? Or maybe you're even finding yourself in a space today, even if some organizations are very big on data security, that they don't even want their data to sit in an Excel file somewhere. All right, and that data is currently stored in a database, or there's no engineering available to make the data available for you. All right, SQL is the key, is the skill that you need, right, to be able to read and write to that particular database. But as an analyst, our job usually doesn't extend to writing to a database. Usually our job as an analyst is reading of data. So when I learned my own SQL, when I learned SQL some years ago, I mean, it sound like years ago. That was some 10 years ago, actually. When I learned SQL then, it was a case of reading of data. Nobody granted me access to write data to databases. All right. It was only about reading of data. And I would love to teach you what I learned then to get you started. And you'll see that SQL is actually very, very, very simple. Trust me on this one. Super, super simple. All right. Follow me. So that's where the concept of SQL came into play. How engineers came up with a concept of being able to store data in a way, databases that they are dedicated for just storing data, storing and retrieval of data, obviously. Then SQL is the language. SQL is the tool you use in interacting with databases. By interaction, I mean, I write a SQL language or a SQL query, as it's called, to fetch data from a database. I write a SQL BigQuery to write data to a database. The same way you go to Excel today, you go and type my name is, then maybe go under the name column, you type your name, you go under the age column, you type your age and so on. When you want to write to SQL, right, usually there's something you call a client. I'll show you some of that today. You write a line of query or two, or no matter the number of lines, okay, to pass that information straight to a database. And when you want to retrieve that same information, you write another query. You say, okay, see, database, I know you stored this particular data for me. Oh, can you please provide me this information I need? Today, we are going to be practicing with something very, very practical. Okay, I have some data available today, and I'm going to use it on this call. Okay, so SQL is that very, very, very interesting language, a tool that as an analyst, I love to use, because guess what? There's no place your data is sitting today that I cannot interact with it, because as long as it's in the database and I already know the way to write SQL, I can interact with data, which means that skill is very, very essential. Okay, so going beyond the limitations that if you have not used Excel to its limits, no problem. Oh, don't get intimidated by that. No. This is not a session to intimidate you. No. If you have not used Excel to its limits, it's not your fault. It's because Excel is actually a very, very beautiful tool, and it has its own the job it does. But as you continue to advance and maybe find yourself in some spaces, you start hearing things like, you hope you have SQL, as an analyst especially, you hope you have, can you write SQL? Or maybe as a manager, can you go and fetch data from the database by yourself without waiting for an analyst to delay you or whatever it is? Okay, so that's where SQL comes into play. All right, that's where SQL comes into play. So I just explained, I think I just explained this part. I was talking about understanding databases, why they are very important, and the different types of databases. Of course, I didn't go so much into the different types of databases, but why they are very important. In this case, databases are used to store data in a very, very organized manner. It's an electronic means of storing data. Okay, there are different types of databases, the RDBMS, which are called the relational databases. I'm not going to bore you with this. This is just me going around. I just want to lay the foundation. So when I'm showing you how it works, you already understand, oh, this is what Emmanuel was saying earlier. Okay, that's exactly what I'm trying to build on here. So when we go into the concept of databases, there's something I also want to bring to your attention. All right, while we have gone into the concept of databases, there are now different flavors, right? Because we are in the engineering space. Today you have Twitter, or it's no longer called Twitter, it's now called X. You have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have they're all social media platforms, right? Yes. The big boys, when they were creating SQL, of course, I don't know which of them created SQL. Let me know, so I don't be quoted wrongly, right? The concept of SQL became very, very useful across the industry, that the different big players in the industry, Microsoft, Oracle, and the likes, they created their own flavor, their own versions of the concept of SQL remained the same, right? But the variation was now in its application for these different businesses, right? Microsoft today, when you look at their ERPs or the application, Microsoft is very big, or you hear something like Azure SQL. Microsoft is very big on that, because before Microsoft even got to the point of Azure SQL, we had the likes of Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, or Microsoft SQL Server. What is that? That is Microsoft's own database flavor. It's the same, the concept is the same, database. It's doing the same job, but for Microsoft's own application. Then people came up with, there are some other big boys or big players or interesting players in this space where we talk about open, what's it called? There's a type of SQL called MySQL. All right, it's open for anyone to be able to implement in their own application. The concept of MySQL came on board as well, or MySQL also is another flavor of this. For each of these DBMSs I'm talking about, they also have their own flavor of SQL. Okay, by that is the concept remains the same. My concept, I keep repeating that the concept remains the same, but inside their own application of it sometimes would differ just a bit, not too much. In this one, maybe you're writing an extra function, but this other one says, okay, no worry, I can already understand this function the way it is. All right. So there's also Postgres. There's Oracle's own as well. These are different flavors, so you don't get confused out there in case you see anybody drop a job description in front of you and you just see these plenty names on top of it. Don't get scared. It's just the same thing. They mean SQL. All right? Don't be scared about that. They mean SQL. Simple. Now, I mean, I poke fun at job descriptions sometimes when I see companies or release job descriptions and you see an array of SQL languages on the C. I'm like, I don't think any company uses more than one database per time. Like, even if they do, it's probably just 2 maximum. Right? So whenever I see them do that, it'll be like, are you trying to intimidate the person that is coming on board or what? So sometimes I just make fun of that because it's almost not the case. All right. But if that's where you find yourself, please, all the best. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to do that one on the side. There's also another concept of SQL called the NoSQL, but we're not discussing NoSQL today. It's actually used for storing of unstructured set of databases, unstructured set of data. Now, when it comes to databases, Emmanuel, this concept of databases, where do they exist? Right? Databases can exist on your system today. Yes, you can actually run a database on your system. That's on your laptop today, on your PC, your personal computer. But to a very large extent, because of, I mean, the heavy players in this space, you're likely going to be utilizing a cloud database. In this case, the one we're going to be using today is going to be BigQuery. All right, BigQuery is Google's own version of yeah, he also has his own SQL. BigQuery is Google's own version of SQL. All right, they have their own cloud SQL as well, but the BigQuery is a data infrastructure that is used for storing large amount of data. It has its own plus side to it, and I love BigQuery because of its simplicity, which is why I chose it for this particular session. Every other one also has its own interesting area, but I love BigQuery because anyone here can even start using BigQuery like today. So you are likely going to be using a cloud setup. If your organization is using a cloud setup today, the concept remains the same. Whether it's on your system or it's in the cloud, it's the same. Databases are just like applications or systems that are installed on your own. So it can be on your laptop or it can be in the cloud. The concept obviously remains the same. Okay, I think I've done enough justice in terms of introducing SQL, all right, as a concept. I would like to jump now into the practicals. I mean, we've gone a bit into this. Now, when we talk about SQL, all right, let me stop at this point. I need to catch my breath and let me see if I can take any question. Has anything I said so far been confusing to you and you need clarification? Please indicate by raising your hand. You want to ask a question, or maybe you've had this question either from what I said or you've had this question before now and you just wanted clarification. What does this mean? Is it the same as this? Please indicate by raising your hand. Let me take it now before I proceed. Anybody? Anybody that needs a clarification on SQL or what we've talked about so far before I proceed? Anyone before I proceed? Hello? Okay, can you please indicate that you're still here? Can someone just give me a thumbs up or something? Let me show that we are still here together. Are we still here?
Yes, we're still here.
I'm still here.
Good. Okay, beautiful. I just wanted to be sure I'm not just talking to
Yes, we are
myself.
still here. We are still here.
All right, beautiful. I just want to be sure because everyone just went quiet there for a sec. All right, good. No problem. Now let's go into SQL. All right. Now we are getting into the practical side. We're going away from slides very soon. All right. We're going away from slide very soon. I love to lay the foundation before then going because that is the most interesting part. The slide is, I usually call the slide the boring part. It's the most interesting part is where we get practical. So there are some I'll do my best to cover this within the next 1 hour, and hopefully that lays a very strong foundation for you to take your journey on to learning SQL either on your own, but if you want to learn with the academy, that's also fine. We can always have a class for you in that regard. Anyways, so the concept of select from. Remember I said earlier that SQL is simple. Sometimes I love to trivialize this, not because it's not because I don't know that it takes some learning, but it's because the truth is, from my usage of it and from how I got to learn it and how to apply it, and also because I love to teach, I've also seen that these things can be simplified. They can be oversimplified. You see this select from where? Please put that in the back of your mind, because that's the first thing I'll be teaching you today. Select from where. This today is going to be the first thing I'll teach you on when it comes to SQL. Okay? I will explain it to you from an Excel point of view. I will then show you in SQL how you interpret that. The reason I also asked earlier for those who have used Excel, because I want to also know what kind of analogies I can draw for you. If you are already somebody who uses Excel or Google Sheets, I can draw analogies that you already are familiar with. Okay? Okay, so let me pay attention to these first three. Select, from, and where. Okay? Let me see, how do I show this? Let me go to my Excel. Let me show you my Excel screen briefly. Let me show you my Excel screen. So today's data, the data we're going to be working with today is going to be, again, I'm working with the assumption that you understand what at least you understood what data analytics is. Okay, that assumption is what I'm writing on here. Okay, if you don't, please do well to ask me. I'll be happy to clarify. If you have any questions at any point, just indicate, raise your hand, and I will be more than happy to clarify that for you. Okay, so this is my Excel data. We are talking about select, from, and where. All right, select, from, where. The first three concepts I want to teach you today in SQL. We're not writing SQL in Excel. Let me clarify. I'm just here to show you something. Then we'll go to where we're going to write it. So when we say select, from, and where, remember when you play with Excel and I say, show me or filter this particular data, for instance. Let me not even use the word filter. Can I see, in this case, this is a HR data. This particular data is called HR Analytics. That's the name of this worksheet. At least that's the concept I believe some of us are familiar with. This is a worksheet called HR Analytics. That's the particular file called HR Analytics as well. In here, there's a field called Education field. Okay. And I want to select which members of this organization are in the medical field. I go here, click on the drop down, click on medical, and click on select, right? What I have just done right here is, of course, in Excel, it's called applying a filter, right? I've selected, in this case, there are 400, if you look at the bottom left corner here, there are 470 records selected out of the 1,480 records already existing in this data set. What I just did right here in front of you is a very simple, in SQL, it's a very simple select statement. What that means is select, in this case, all the records. I'm explaining that to you now what it means in SQL. Select all the records select all the records from HR Analytics data. Remember I said select, from, and where. Select all the records. In this case, all the records in this case is employee, ID, age group, and so on and so forth. Select all the records from the data called HR Analytics, where the education field is medical. First, before I proceed, is that clear enough? I understood that. Just indicate. I understood that. It just indicates. If you want me to clarify, I can clarify. But just indicate. I need your reactions, please. Select all the records, in this case, all the fields that exist in this particular data. So even if you don't understand SQL before, I'm trying to lay the foundation for you. So if this is not clear, ask me to do that now. I'll clarify it for you before I go into SQL. Select all the records from the data called HR Analytics.
Okay, you said select, right?
Yes.
I'm watching from my phone, so I don't know what button you are clicking to select.
Okay. At the moment, I'm just applying a filter in Excel. At the moment, in Excel, all we are just doing right now in Excel is applying a filter. We've not written any select statement yet. But I'm explaining what I just did in Excel, which in this case is apply a filter on a column called education field. Okay, so if you already know how to apply a filter in Excel, I will translate that to SQL for you very shortly, so you see how that works. Select all the records. I didn't click anything. My mouse is not moving at the moment. from the HR analytics data, where the where the field, in this case the education field, is medical. Now let's go and translate that to SQL. Let's go and translate. And the reason why that from is important, I will show you to you very soon. The reason why that from is important is because, remember I said earlier, it's a database will have many data inside of it. It has different tables inside of it. All right, it will have different tables inside of it. So what you get to do, right? What you get to do is you tell it, give me only these records. All right, give me only these records. That's from this data from this particular table. Okay, give me only these records. So I'm going to share my what's it called? Let me open a new SQL. Yep. Okay, sharing my BigQuery. BigQuery, by the way, is a cloud data environment which you can use for your business if you are in charge of determining the infrastructure. If your business is already using it, fantastic. Even if you're not using BigQuery, the concept I'll be teaching you here today is equally applicable in MySQL, Postgres, SQLite, SQL Server, Azure SQL, Synapse, and the rest. The concept remains the same, just that BigQuery is as the name sounds, is actually a bigger boy in this concept. Okay, so here, this is an interface in BigQuery. I'm currently sharing my browser. Now, this interface here, I was talking about having a client earlier. When the big boys created their different various versions of SQL, they obviously created their own client. Client in this case is the application which you get to use in querying that database. I've used that word multiple times, querying that database. When we talked about the topic of this session, I said this query, hope this query is not going to sound like HR query. Interestingly, the data we're going to be working with today is also HR data. It's fine. But the query we're talking about in this case is, I want you to get used to it. When I say query here, I mean writing a SQL query or an SQL query. Okay. For instance, we said earlier, select is a function inside of SQL, from, and then where. I told you to keep in mind these three things. I'll write it here. Okay, I just typed in here, select, from, and where. We're going to fill it very soon. We're going to fill the blanks very soon. But on the left hand side here, let me show you what BigQuery looks like. Just a quick run. BigQuery is very big. It's currently available in Google Cloud, so there's a lot to cover when it comes to BigQuery. I'm not here to talk about BigQuery or teach BigQuery specifically. I'm here to teach SQL. But if you look around in BigQuery, there is a lot to do with it for those who are familiar with tools like this. But on the left-hand side here, let me break it down as simple as possible. Here, on the left-hand side here, when you see anything like this box icon here, that's like a data set. Or in the concept of databases, that's like a database. Okay? At the top here, this is a project. In a project, you can have different databases or different data sets. But I'm going to use Google BigQuery's language. In this case, as a data set. In here, inside of a data set or a database, you now have what? Your tables. In this case, this is the particular data that we just looked at in Excel. This is it. This is its own version here in BigQuery. All right. This is its own version here inside of BigQuery. I'll show you to you shortly. Then we'll come and start querying the data. So on the left-hand side here, I have my data set, also known as a database for those who are using other versions of SQL. Then on the left, underneath it, you have the tables. All right. Inside the database like this, you can have a table or a view or some other components that make up that you can use in SQL. But for now, we have a table, just one table. You can have more. That's the beauty of SQL. It is highly scalable. By that I mean, inside this one database now, I can have 1,000 tables here, and it will carry it like a champ without feeling the heat. Okay, just mentioning. That's why it is better when it comes to storing of data. Excel is great, but if you have to manage 1,000 files in Excel, you can imagine how tedious that would be. But imagine having 1,000 tables here. It's still a lot of work, but I mean, it's a lot easier to know what exactly to go to in SQL. Anyways, so this is a data set, open data. This is the project. This is the data set, and this is my table. So let me click on the table here. Simply, I'll click on the table. It will open up and show me some few things. Look at this. These are the fields we have in my table. Okay, get used to it. I'm not doing anything technical yet. Get used to it. These are just the fields. Oh, I have an employee ID, which is a string. I have an age, which is integer. I have an age group, which is a string. Because databases are structured, every field in it is already defined. You won't store. You won't see a database collect number, right? Correct somebody's name inside a field that's supposed to be a number. You won't see a database collect it. All right, unless it's been told to do so. In this case, you can see each field or each column, as you might know in Excel, is already defined. If I go to the preview, you will see what it looks like already. This is what it looks like. This is me getting close. BigQuery just showing me what my data looks like. All right, this is just me looking at what it looks like. This is not me query. I'm not started querying anything. No, I've not done any query. This is me just seeing what my table looks like. So I can make some info. Oh, this is what, oh, you have age. Oh, age is a number. Oh, there's an age group. Okay, noted. There's a daily rate. Oh, that's good. I'm just previewing what my data looks like. Getting used to it, acclimatizing with my data. Now, let me write a query on this particular database. Okay, I'll go up here and I'll click on query on this particular table rather. And I'll do select. I said this earlier. I'm just going to remove every other thing. Select and the asterisk. Let me teach you that first. Select asterisk means select all. Remember when in Excel I was telling you select all the fields. For instance, I want to select employee ID. I can type select employee ID. BigQuery with its intelligence will show me that I have. Let me zoom this in if it's so it's not so tiny, and I can collapse this. Select employee ID, EMP ID. It will suggest to me, and I can select it. All right, comma. Select. What other field do we have here? We have age. Select age. I can type age. All right, comma. I can select daily rate. Daily rate. I can select. I'm just checking the fields I have at the moment. I'm selecting one after the other at the moment. I'm not doing anything too out of the ordinary. Is there a name here? No, there's no name here. Just employee ID. Let me see what else I can select. Let's select department and move on. There's department. I'll go back. I can select department. If you already know your fields, you don't have to do this. You can just type it out once and for all. I can select department. Okay. That is me. I've defined 4 columns or 4 fields that I want to select. Now, remember I said earlier that we should consider select them from. Let me now go underneath it. From where? And this is where we get to define what table that we want to fetch our data from. Now you can see it has already given me it has given me here because I wrote the query from here directly, but I want to write it out myself. I want to get the data from HR analytics. What that means is please get me the data in the HR analytics table. Okay, so if you are a teacher here and you have the class, you have your pupils data, yours can be select this particular field from your pupils data or whatever the name of your table is. The name of your table will be different. Mine is HR analytics. But as you can see, as I typed out HR analytics, BigQuery suggested to me, oh, do you mean the HR analytics that is currently inside of the open data database? Yes. Remember I mentioned that in a particular database, you can have multiple, tables. So I want the HR analytics table that's currently available inside of this particular data set. So I can remove the running. So right now, I have done select all these columns, right? And from this particular table. Once I click on run here, take note of what happens. BigQuery goes to work, all right? And we have written our first select statement. I'm not doing boju yet too. I've not gotten to any. This is me just, this is SQL at its simplest. I have data. As you can see, 1,480 records down here. I told it, give me my employee ID, my age, my daily rate, and department. These are the fields I need. All right. And as you can see, get it for me from this particular table, and BigQuery goes to work and gives me these columns. As you can see them down here, look at the result down here. This right here, I can export if I want to use for analytics. Or I can even run my analytics here directly. Let me pause. I've written the first SQL statement or the first query. Does it make sense? Is it difficult? Is it difficult? I think I understand that. Can you just indicate? Just indicate by raising your hand. I think I understand that. Or just give me a reaction. Give me a reaction. I think I understand that. It's not more than this. Is SQL. Oh. We have started writing SQL. Oh. We have started though. It's not more than this. Everything we are going to be doing now, going forward as an analyst, is going to be built on these first two lines that we have written here. Everything else. So follow me. Everything that's going to be built on this. I will do my best to explain to you as clearly as possible. We have written our first SQL statement. Is this part clear? Okay. Now, if you have any questions at any point, please don't. My class is not the kind of class I don't like. I take questions. So please, why did I bring in data? That is engineering. No, don't let me do that one. No. Okay. I don't mind. I can take you through bringing data in, but trust me, that's me already teaching BigQuery. There are ways we can share resources in that regard. You can import your data to BigQuery if you want. Usually an engineer should have done that for you before. So, but if you want to import data to BigQuery, there's an import feature that BigQuery has. You can connect your data to directly. Okay. But if I do that right now, trust me, that's a different lesson on its own. Okay. Please pardon me. I won't be able to cover that. That's a different lesson on its own. It's actually on the left-hand side. What I closed here is here. I can create a new table. As you can see here, I can create a new table. And when I go through the process, it's going to ask me from where do I want my data to come from, and so on and so forth. It's going to ask me that once I fill this in and create a table, it will do that job for me. But trust me, if I start this one right now, we're going to digress from getting our result or start writing SQL. Okay, and because this is again this is platform specific, you can go to SQL Server today or Azure SQL. It will be completely different. So I really don't want to start talking about what's it called, this specifically, but we'll have a session on maybe BigQuery one time, and everyone can be a part of that, and you can learn that in detail. Or better still, you can join our SQL class, the one we're having later this month, and of course we'll take time to explain some of these things to you in the broader class. Okay, but let's talk about, I'm interested in these queries that I'm writing. So query number one. Okay, query number one, I'll just go to the top of it, and so let me teach you just a very small something here. When you are writing queries in SQL, you can use your double dash at the beginning. It's like you're already programming, but you're not. This is your data programming, really. It's a data language. I can use double dash at the beginning to make what we call a comment. A comment means when I'm running this particular query, do not run this one. It is not a command for you to run. Okay? So in this case, I would say query number one. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay? So let's move on. I told you three things earlier: select, from, and where. We didn't do the where in this case. We did only select and from. Now let's go further. Okay. Before I can write my next query, because I can hide and not tell you this, but before I can go to my next query, I have to use a semicolon. Okay. I use my semicolon to separate first query from second query. So here, I will just copy this exact same thing. Select from this particular table. This is my query two. Query two. Sorry, I'm not writing it again. I'm just trying to also utilize the time. Query two, in this case, same select statement from the same HR analytics data, but this time I'm going to add a where. Please take note of this one. We've not run the second one yet. Take note of this down here. 1,480 records is what we had, right? Because we selected everything. We didn't ask you to filter out anything. So now let's apply a where condition. What is a where condition? Where in this case is like a filter. It's not like a filter. It's actually a filter. The Excel filter that you go and do Ctrl+Shift+L for those who use shortcuts, and you click on the drop down there and you select what you want. This is me writing it in SQL. Where is a filter? Okay, let me go up here. This here is select the columns you need. In this place is define the table to get the data from. Okay, Now, query number 2, introduce where clause. Introduce the where clause. Okay, so let's define our where clause. Remember in Excel, when we wanted to select our data, we went to what a field called education field, right? Now let's type it out. Where, and it's not difficult though. Just type education field here and see what happens. Where education field, the same statement we had before, but this time around, where education field is equal to what? I open my double because this is what I want to check for is a text. In this case, where education field is equal to medical, I'll open a quote equal to what? Medical. What this means right now is I'm done with my second query. Select the same employee ID, age, daily rates, department from this same table where the field called education field is what? Medical. I haven't run it yet. I'm just trying to explain to you. This is me writing that same filter as I did in Excel. Select from where. That is the basis. You need to understand this. If you understand this as an analyst or somebody whose job is to be querying data, you'll be able to build on this knowledge for many other things. Many other things. Okay? Now, let's run this. To run it, I'll just highlight it. All right, highlight that section and I'll click on run. Where education field is equal to what? Medical. So run it and see what the result looks like. Can you see now we have 470 records generated at the bottom right corner here. If I open it up, it has reduced the result. Emmanuel, how do I know that it is the result that I need? Because the query has run successfully and it has given me the fields I asked it to give me. The result here has also changed from 1,400 and something to 470 records. I have now applied a filter to my data. Note, I didn't even have to select the education field. I didn't even have to bring out the education field though. Do you see that? I didn't even have to bring out the education. I didn't have to bring it out. Like it's not up here in the fields to be selected. But I can use it as what? A filter. And it has filtered this data set to give me the exact same thing I heard in Excel a few minutes ago. Are we still on point? Are we still on point here? We have done our select statement, right? And we've now also applied a filter. Are we still on point? Is it difficult? I want someone, just one person to confirm. You can unmute your mic. One person, please. Is it difficult? Is this difficult? One person, please.
It is not, though. It's interesting.
Thank you very much. Good. Thanks. I needed that motivation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue. Now,
I would suggest that you include the education field in the select so that will visually just confirm it.
Okay, thank you very much. I will do that right away so that we can also see and tell, right? So let me add education field as he mentioned. So what I just do. It's not like because I wrote it before, I can't do it again. I can just go there and add education field. It's not hard. It's not more than that. I just went there in front of department, comma, education field, and I select the same one and I click on run. And what happens immediately? It reruns and gives me medical. How do I know that Emmanuel is not just performing magic for the sake of this particular session? There's another one called marketing. Let's go and check for marketing. Let's change the where clause now from medical to marketing. Okay, and I select this and I run. Please take note, this is medical at the moment. Once I run it again, take note, when it's done result, it gives me a new result called marketing. The results here have changed. The number of records has equally changed. It's happening real time. So if you had 1 million records, 10 million records, I remember one very interesting data set I worked on some years ago. That's actually a lot of records. So, but if I wanted to play with a large amount of data, I'm not going to be downloading to Excel to do analysis. No. I do this. I use SQL. That is the powerful tool that you have as an analyst or somebody who has joined this particular session today. Okay? This is clear enough, right? Are we still on track?
Query question.
Sorry?
Can you run query one? What has happened to query one?
What has happened to query 1? Nothing has happened to query 1. Query 1 right now is currently waiting for me to call it if I need it. Okay? Right now, okay, let me rephrase that. Right now, because I'm currently in a client that allows me to write multiple lines of query, I can write multiple queries inside of it and run them individually as I want, like I'm currently showing to you. I highlight the portion I want and run it. Okay? But if I wanted to run everything at once, I mean, BigQuery, that's why it's called BigQuery. I can uncheck and run everything. What it will do, it will run number 1 and then run number 2. Imagine if I was building an application and this is the first thing I need you to do. I need you to write data to the database first, and I need you to return a result for me. This is how it's going to happen. So query 1 will run first, then query 2 will run next, and so on and so forth. It runs in chronological order like that. Okay? If I do that at the moment, just for the sake of this class, I'll just run it without highlighting any portion. I'll run it, and you see BigQuery is going to show me why it is called BigQuery. To go to work, and it tell me I have 2 results for you. This is the first one. This is the second one. If I click on the first one, by the first one I mean one down. I click on the first one, and I see the view the results. It shows me the results. Oh, 161. If I click on go back, if I click on the other one on top of it, it shows me the other result up there. Okay? All here within the same interface. But because I don't need it, I'm teaching each of the sections one after the other. That is why I am highlighting the portion where I need and then running that part. Is it clear enough? Good.
Sure.
Okay, next thing I want to introduce to you, I've taught you how to filter. I think I should just, let me not even use where clause. Introduce filtering using where clause. Now let's talk about, I will copy the same thing, please. I don't want to start writing queries that I already have. Query number 3, right? This time around, we want to introduce sorting. Not that kind of sorting, please. Get your mind out of there. Introduce sorting. Okay, sorting of records. Okay, please, if anybody wants to lead on what they want me to query, by lead, I mean if you want me to query a particular thing, oh, Emmanuel, is it possible to do this? Let me know. Let's try it together here. All right, let me know. Let's try it together on this call. Is it possible to get a result like this? Yes, let's try it together on this call. All right, okay. Now this guy is giving me a red mark here because I did not add my semicolon before it. So between a previous select statement and another select statement, you need to add your semicolon. In fact, I will do it like this. I need someone on the call to think about one question they want me to, one query or one question they want me to answer using SQL. One person, I'll give that chance to one person. So think about it. When we are done with question number 3, that will be my next query. Okay, so think about any question that maybe when you have a data like this and you want to okay, let me state this first. SQL is not for data visualization. No, let's be clear about that one first. So if you ask me to plot a graph for you, I'm not able to plot the graph. Okay, but tell me how to get a particular data set for you from here. One question you want me to do right here on this call, I'll answer it to you as query number 4. So think about it. You can start typing your question in the chat box. I'll pick it up when I get back to you here, or I'll give your audience to ask the question. So query number 3 here is about sorting. Now I've introduced you to select, from, and where. You could see that for the first one, you can do select and from. Then where makes me add filtering. What if I wanted to sort? Right now, my data is currently, look at the age. Let's use age for instance. Age is currently 29, 20, 37, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Or the daily rate is currently sorted. It's not sorted. Right? At the moment, it's just here and there. So what if I wanted to sort my data by age? All right? Now that's where the next function or the next clause or the next syntax comes into play. Now I need to mention in SQL, when you are writing SQL, the order of these queries are very important. You don't write from before select. You write select before from. You don't write where before from. You write from. You write the from before the where. So you select from. That's why it's a structured query language after all. You tell the system what to do, it will bring it out for you, but you have to follow the system's own, I'll call it logic. That is where the language, learning the language comes into play. Okay? I know this session, I'll do my best to cover as much as possible in this particular session. If you want to do SQL for an extended period of time, we have this class for those who are interested. Coming up later on this month, if you want to join our SQL classes coming up, it's going to be a 6-week class, purely talking about SQL from start to finish for 6 weeks. Not talking about basics classes. You're going to start from the basics, but we're going to build on it for many other things. What you can do with SQL, whether as an analyst or as an everyday person. If you're interested in that session, the 6 weeks class that's going to be 6 weeks class is going to be on SQL, please indicate, drop your name. I'm interested in the chat box. Someone's going to chat you up immediately to get your details. Thank you. My own session is here. This is my own session. This is why I'm here. I'm here to teach you SQL for today. But if you're interested in the extended class for about 6 weeks, please drop your details in the chat box, or drop your I'm interested in the chat box. Someone is going to pick up with you and take it up from there. Now, introduce sorting. If I wanted to sort my data, this result I'm currently having in front of me, because guess what? When it comes to databases, you don't go with knife and scissors and screwdrivers and the rest. No. For databases, you go with the query. It is your query. Your query is your tool. How to write these lines is the tool. Okay? You can't go with your mouse to a database and be clicking and get data. It's not going to answer you. It's not going to answer you. How you get your data from a database, how you fetch whatever you want from it, is by writing these lines of query. Trust me, maybe at the beginning stage, it may not be, it's not going to be a lot. Trust me. It's probably you selecting this, that, and cleaning up here and there. It's possible. But I believe as you go with time, your experience develops as well. You can deal with even more advanced things when it comes to SQL. Now, introduce sorting. After my select from and where, then I do what? Order by. I do what? Order by. Now, let me state, I can write my order by without a where clause and it will still work. The only thing that must always be there is my select and from. Okay? The only thing that must always be there is my select and what? From. But as you can see under I have my where, because in this case I want only for marketing. Then I can order by, in this case, let me order by what? Age. Okay? If I select order by age, guess what happens? The system says, okay, thank you very much. I know you want me to order by age. I'll just order by age. But what is going to happen at this point is that it will order in ascending order by default. SQL will do that for you. In this case, select these people from the marketing education field where the age is ordered in ascending order. As you can see, 18, 19, 20, 20, 21. Now, I hope you're understanding what is going on here. The filter is applied on a line-by-line basis. Oh. In this case, any field any line that has marketing is what is being filtered. So whenever you're writing SQL, don't imagine it to be anything too abstract. Think about an Excel sheet in front of you, an Excel file in front of you, that you have data and you want to apply a filter. Your where clause says, go each of the lines and filter out the records that match this. It's as simple as that. Go on each line and give me, not each column, go on each line, look for this particular column though, education field, look for it, and then filter for the record that matches marketing. That is what we're currently filtering for. In this case, then order by age. Without writing any other area, it is always going to sort in what? Ascending order. As you can see, RM458 is currently number 1 on the list because in age, that's probably the youngest person in that particular department. Okay, or person with marketing education. If I say, oh, I don't want to order by age, I want to order by the employee ID, I'll say, okay, no problem. Order by what? Employee. I remove the age and I'll order by employee ID. And just select that. I'll select it again and run it. You notice that the employee ID now will be sorted. Now, as you can see, 458 was the first one, but it's no longer the first one. You can see age 42 is now the next one. It's first one at the top now because based on employee ID, this is the first person with the employee ID. Maybe the oldest now, not in terms of age, but oldest in terms of being in the organization. Employee number 1, employee number 28. Okay, but what if you wanted to give an order? Oh, Emmanuel is always sorting in a certain order. What if you wanted to? Oh, wait, now I'll show you. That's why you're on this call. Let me show you that. Wait, calm down. Let me go back to the age. And this time around, in front of the age, I will write DESC. What that means is sort my age in a descending order. Without writing it, ASC means ascending order. DESC means descending order. If you have seen an SQL query before and you're wondering, what are all these jargons people are writing? This is me explaining it to you in as simple terms as possible. Okay? Sort the age, sort this particular data, the age should be in descending order. Let's run it. Let's see what it looks like. And run it. And what happens? You can see that the oldest by age now is somebody with 60. Now let's even say by age, but what if somebody else is, they are currently age 60, but maybe you want to order by something else, maybe their daily rates. You can go in front of this same one and do comma and say also order by what? The daily rate in descending order. That's me giving you two things to order by. Our select from and where still exists, but I'm telling it order this particular result by the age and by the daily rate. In fact, let me make the daily rate ascending so you can see the difference. So I'll make the daily rate ascending. What that means is run this guy again. The age is still 60, 60, 60, 60. But for the guys that are currently 60, what is the daily rate sorted by? Ascending order 696, 1179, and 149. It's always going to, as long as you get your syntax right, your query right, it will respect it and give you the desired result. Let me pause at this point and take questions, comments before proceeding. Anybody? I know we have question number 4 from somebody on the chat on the call. So I would like to take that soon. But questions and comments so far before we proceed. Are we still together? Is it making sense? Please, can I get your reaction? Is it making sense? I get your reactions. Okay. Only one person? Oh, I didn't have lost my audience. Okay. Number 2. Just tell me it's making sense to you. I'd like to know. Have I lost you? If I've lost you, raise your hand, though. If I've lost you, raise your hand, please. Are we still together? Is it getting too complex? Is it getting too complex? But I say writing SQL, though. That's how SQL works. Okay? Then, okay, at this point, is my question number 4 ready now? Anybody? My question number 4, is it ready? Who wants to go? Who has a question for us to address in as number 4? Anybody? No, I need a question now. We have people that are working with data here now, right? I need a question that I can answer with SQL. Anybody? Don't go code on me. Don't go code on me. Oh, what's going on here? All right. Well, I prepared for a moment like this, thanks to the wonderful team I have behind the scenes. So in case you ever figure out the question as you go along the way, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to take it on board. But for now, I will proceed to use a question from a list of questions that we currently have behind the scenes. Okay, I will show you a bit of calculation as well. I'll see how many more queries you can write before we are done today. Okay, now what we have done so far, and this is I want to introduce something that is, how do I do it? How do I explain it? Remember when you go to Excel today and you ask Excel to give you a pivot table and it gives you some results. If you have not used Excel as pivot table, that's fine. No, I want to just explain something. Okay, or you want to say, oh, can I see everybody in a particular department? Something like that. Someone tells you, can I see how much a particular department made in a particular month? Right? We're going into that very shortly. Or how many people are in a, those kind of questions that come up to you as analyst or whatever your role is. How many students pass this particular test and you have the data? How do you write the select statement for that? How many people left the company last year? How much money have we made this year? I hope you're beginning to see how it's coming to play. Oh, this year, how do I write a where clause to give me this year? How do I select a particular department? How do I get X this? How do I get that? We're going into that next. So I'm going to introduce to you two functions, maybe a sum and then an average. Okay, no, I can't do sum. I don't have anything. This is HR. This is HR data. I'll do an average and I'll do an average and I'll do a count, and then we can build on that knowledge. Okay. How do we then do those counting and all of those beautiful stuff using Excel, using SQL? Okay. I'll go into that next. I'll do average and then count. Then we can build on this knowledge in future sessions. Query number 4 will be for us to do a count or a sum. So let's do. I will not copy this previous records. I will start afresh. Okay. Now, let me do this again. I'll copy the query number 4 first. Query number 3 as number 4. Let's make it more interesting. Before I do that, so remember when I started this, I was trying to teach you how to select. What if I needed all the columns in my data? We currently have, I don't know how many columns I have here. I can't remember. I didn't count it. Whatever number of columns we have here, let's say 20 or 15, whatever the number of columns. What if, instead of me selecting them one after the other, what if I wanted to select all of them? It's a very simple way of doing that. It tells SQL, give me asterisks. Instead of writing the columns one after the other, this guy has come again. Come on, semicolon rather. Instead of asking SQL to write them one after the other, or instead of writing all the columns one after the other, you can tell SQL, don't worry, select all. When you see this particular asterisk here in front of the select, it means all. Select all. I'm explaining this because very soon now we are going to count all. We are going to do an average as well. Okay, and you are going to use the same concept. Select all. How does this work? The same query we had before, but this time around we're going to run it using the select all. I'll run it as query number 4 and see what happens. You will notice that the number of records are returned, but the number of columns now are more. Can you see it? The number of columns now are more. We can see our age now, our age group, our attrition, our business, daily rate. It's still sorted though. It's sorted the way it's supposed to be. You can see age here sorted in descending order, daily rate sorted in ascending order, marketing is still the education field, and so on and so forth. Everything else is still, but what has happened right now is that the data now is currently selecting all the fields. Okay, selecting all the columns that exist in this particular data. Now, based off this, now let's do interesting. What is the difference between where and having? Where clause is used for filtering down. Let me see if I can explain that as simple as where clause is used for filtering down row by row data, like what we did just not too long ago, where the education field is market. I'm answering somebody that asked a question in the chat box. It's question 8. Here's our question is, I don't know who is a he or she. Here's our question is, or their question is, what is the difference between where and having? Where in this case is used to filter on a row by row basis. In this case, which line has marketing in it in this particular column? Get it out for me. But having this next, where we're going to in terms of query number 5 now, we're going to use having is used there to filter for something that has already been aggregated. Big English, let me break it down for you. If you have already summed up the amount people make in a particular department, and you want to filter for people, let's say you have gotten all the data for all the departments and how much they've made, right? And you want to filter based on the amount they have made. Remember, the amount they've made is not a particular column. You summed it up. There is Emmanuel in that department. There is Uche in that particular department. There's Kings in that particular department. All our monies, we've added it all up, right? To give you one value. And you want to filter based on that value that has been summed up or that has been calculated. That's where you use having. Is it clear? I know I've not written any query yet that gives you calculations, but I don't know if the person asked the question. I don't know if that's clear enough. Or if that's not clear to you at all, please ask me. Right now, without having any calculation, I can select and filter based on age group. I didn't have to calculate anything. It's already data that is existing. I'm not calculating anything. I didn't calculate age. Age is already existing. I say give me age when it's 60 and above. It will do that. All right. But when you now do a calculation, let's say you've counted how many people are in a department and there are 20 of them. You say give me all the departments that have more than 20 persons in it. That is where you then use having. You don't use where at that point. You use having. I hope time permits us to get to that point, but that is what having is used to filter calculated aggregated values, where is used to filter the actual record itself, the row by row record. Thank you. For the person that asked the question, I hope that is clear enough. But Tola, I hope that's clear enough. If it's, I would like to get some confirmation if you are still here. Okay, while I wait for your confirmation, either in chat or so, I'll just proceed with what I was trying to talk about here. Number 5. It's clear now. Okay, good. I'm happy I was able to provide that for you. Number 5, let's now count how many employees we have. First, let's count. Let's count all the employees we have. You see where I said where I select from, it was like the base for all of these things since. I'll copy just this first two first. I'll copy this first two. And say select from. When this time around, I want to select. Oh, stop doing this to me now. Semicolon. Select. Instead of me selecting all, because select all in this case means give me the columns. But I'll tell BigQuery, no, don't give me the columns. I want to count. I'm tired of you showing me the actual record. Show me the actual, what exactly, how many, count the number of people in this particular place. So in this case, I would say, please give me the count. All. All right. Count all. What I just did there was change the all and added the, change the all that was standing on its own to a count of all. Put it together. Change the count, change the select all that we had earlier to a count by putting the count function and put the all inside of it. What that simply means is I'll select query number 5, as simple as it is, as humble as it is, and run it and see what happens. 1480 is returned for me. Simple. It's not more than that. It's not difficult though. 1480 is returned for me. If you remember our original data, we have 1,480 records. That is it right there. It has done the count for you. Now, if I had 2 million rows of record or 20 million rows of record, I can't start downloading that to Excel and start counting one after the other. No. I write my simple select all or select count all, and to give me this. Oh, but select all, count all is 1480. Emmanuel, is that for what department? Let's figure that out. Let's do count all. Now that I've done count all, I'm just going to do query number 6. I don't want us to overwrite any of our previous query. Let's count all employees we have. Please, at the end of any query, please always remember to put your semicolon. It has happened to me multiple times already this afternoon, but remember to always do that. Remember to always do that. So in here, I have a select count all, right? The same select count all that we had. But this time, let's now do say by department. Okay, by department. So instead of just writing the same select count all, what do? I'll say Excel, or see me saying Excel, muscle memory. BigQuery or SQL, select the department that we have. Remember that department we have in the data, comma, count all. All right. Are we together? Select the department and count all. Count all is going to always be a field. All right. Select the department and count all. In fact, I can even put the count. Let me not look like it has to be department before count all. I'll leave it where it was before. Select count all, comma, department. All right? It can be anywhere. It can be before, it can be after. But of course, you and I know that it's better to probably put it before, but it's fine. Let's leave it like this for now. Select count all, comma, department. Emmanuel is already showing you red. This guy, you don't finally reach in limit though. Is this sure? You sure this guy knows how to write SQL? Don't worry, we are on this call together. We were made for this. Now, when you get to the point of counting, and I'm going to use the word going forward, aggregation. What is an aggregation in SQL? Anything that makes you crunch your numbers, that makes you gather them together, anything that makes you count them, sum them, average them, anything at all that makes you bring them together. Right now, select all just gives me each of the lines one after the other. But anything that makes you group your data, anything that makes you count something in SQL is called an aggregation. Anything that makes you sum, those values that help, those things that help you to do calculations, right? I'm not saying change my name from Emmanuel to George as aggregation. No. All right? Anything that makes you take a set of data, right, and try to get a number out of it. I want to calculate my total revenue. I already have revenue line by line, or my sales line by line. I want to calculate my total revenue. I have student records. I want to know how many students I have. And I get to that point where you're not generating a number. Now that number is not just for one line. That number is actually for a group of records. That is called an aggregation. Okay, that's an aggregation in SQL. So whenever you hear me use aggregation going forward, understand it to be that. Yes, someone actually just something very interesting in the chat box. Think pivot tables. For those who have gotten to the point of using pivot tables in Excel, think pivot tables. When you take your raw data in Excel and you try to make a pivot table out of it, think about it when you're thinking about aggregation in BigQuery, in SQL, not BigQuery, SQL. Okay. Now, when you do an aggregation, count is an aggregation. At the moment, this time around, I didn't do anything in addition. I just said count and it gave me the number of 1480. But now I have done count and I've added a field in this case that is not aggregated. In this case, department is just department. Department, is it, are we counting it? Are we deleting it? Are we multiplying it? Are we is SQL says, don't confuse me. This guy is a number that I have to count for you. This is a department that I have to show you the value for. Which one do you want? Should I just show you 1480, Emmanuel? No, it doesn't make any sense. That's where the concept of what group by comes into play. If you ever get to select a field when you aggregate something, you must group by that field. That is the only way SQL is going to be able to allow you to run that query. I have done an aggregation of count and I've told it, I want to see the department. SQL will say, please, Emmanuel, please group by the department, please. That's that all red sign you have been seeing so far. Group by the department, please. Make a hear word. All right? I know you want to count it. I'm going to count it for you, but you must group by the department before I can count it. What that means is it's getting you to the point whereby you're not just making a very simple mistake, just counting and putting department thinking it's going to do that. No. The concept of grouping by is going to help you to pivot your data by department, to group your data by department, to aggregate your data by department, whatever English you understand it to be. It will take department, it will count that department. So in this case, imagine going to Excel, pick medical, count it one after the other, write the value. Pick marketing, count it one after the other, write the value. Pick sales, count it one after the other, write the value. That's what SQL is going to do for you like this. Let's see what that looks like. Usually at this point, things are getting not complicated. Things start getting, it's looking like it's not clear again. Please try to follow me. It's still the same SQL. At the moment, so far, we've not been aggregating. We got to query number 5, we aggregated, we counted. So right now, we are doing an aggregation with a field, which is called a dimension field. In this case, a value that is not aggregated. SQL is going to say, hello, sir, please, this value is not aggregated. What do you want me to do with it? I'll say group by it. What that means is SQL will go and run this now, and it will give me all my departments, line by line, and give me the count if beside it. And why is this count coming beside it? Because we said count all before department. So even if I had 55 departments, instead of me counting one after the other with 3 lines of query, I can already tell how many people I have in a department. Do you understand me? I can already tell how many people I have in a department. Okay? I can already tell how many people I have in a department. This is how simple it is. Are we together? Are we still together? Have I lost any audience? I'll come to that. Have I lost any audience? Have I lost any audience? Are we still together? Is it still making sense? I need some confirmation. Come on, people. Hope you are still here with me. Am I alone? Please, can I get some reactions? Can I get some reactions? Can I get some reactions? Thank you. Is it still making sense to some people? Is it getting too complicated? I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you at this point. I don't want to lose you. I want us to get to the end of this together. Okay. Oops, my time. Oh, okay. Let's see how far we can go within the next few minutes. So now there's something that has been going on in the query number 5 and query number 6, which I mean, I really didn't care so much about it, but I want to talk about it so you can also pay attention to it. Now, look, I'm going to highlight it. When I asked it to count and give me departments, note, department column has department as a header, right? Department has department as a header. Look at it here. Has a header for department. But right beside the count is giving me F0, whatever that means, or field 0. That's the first field. Why? Because my count is not a field, it's an aggregation. No. It's not an existing field in the data. It is a count, right? It is a calculation, it's an aggregation that's happening inside of BigQuery or inside of SQL. But at the moment, it wants to give me a result, but it doesn't know how to tell me the result without because I didn't give it a name. So right now, it's just telling me I'm going to give this field number 1 or field number 0. So how do I make it give me a field name that makes sense? That's what we call aliasing. I'm sorry. See, when it comes to introduction to SQL, it doesn't get any simpler than this. Trust me on this. It doesn't get any simpler than what we're just talking about. What I just talked to you about right now is your SQL cookbook, my SQL cookbook from chapters already, like introductory chapters already. What we have been able to cover in the last one hour thereabout. And with this knowledge, if you really wanted to, if you want to start going to SQL, you can already start doing SQL by yourself beginning from today. And you can pick it up from here. That's the truth. If you wanted to learn on your own, this is you. This is the foundation. You already know what it means, how it works. Everything you want to write going forward will be based off this. But if you want to see how it works behind the scenes, like the real technical bit of it, technical is not the right word, how to actually use SQL to do some very, very amazing things. Very interesting stuff. All right. Using SQL. Please, I'm going to encourage you to join the next cohort of classes for SQL. Because we have other classes. Seriously, 1 month lecture embedded into 1 hour. Thank you very much. That's the right description right there. 1 month lecture embedded into 1 hour, and maybe some chapters of some books embedded into 1 hour. Yes, but I encourage you to join the SQL class coming up next. It's going to be a full 6 weeks class. It's going to be on weekends like this. I encourage you to be a part of that session. You would not regret any bit of it. The truth is that we actually have other classes in Excel, Power BI, and Tableau and the rest. So if you're interested in those classes as well, indicate, just say I'm interested. If you want to become the well-grounded data analyst, you want to learn Excel, Power BI, SQL, and the rest, please just say I'm interested. Someone's going to reach out to you in the chat box, and you can take it up from there. Okay? Or if you want to write to us directly, write to hello@camanda.academy. I will respond to you myself. Okay? That's you reach me there, hello@camanda.academy, and I'll be behind that email waiting for to respond to you. Thank you. Now, let me fix the name of this particular field. Okay? Let me fix the name of this particular field. So how do I do that? I can redo it. No, I don't want to remove this. I love to see the work we've done before, so we don't break things apart. Let's fix. Let's count all employees by department. give the count a name. Okay, so the same way we did, this mistake has happened again. Semicolon. Before your next select statement, always write a semicolon. Okay, we have the select count and department. So in front of this select count, before the comma, I can fix this now. Before the comma, I can do what we call what? As. I'm introducing another function. There's so many syntax in, not so many, there are some very important syntax you use in SQL. There's a lot of it though, but this I've just introduced you to select count from group by where clause. We've talked about having in the past, in passing. Now we're discussing as. As here is meant to give you an alias, a name that this particular field can be returned as. Okay, I can call it whatever I want it to be, as long as I respect the naming convention for SQL. In this case, I can say, give me the name as, count all of this as, I don't know, employees. Okay, count all of these as employees. I did my count though, where like see line, see it compared with the other one. Compared to the other one, count this, but this time around, I'm just counting and putting as employees, comma, department. Even this department, if I want the department to be something else, let me go in front of department and say as DEPT. Okay, I want department to carry a different naming. So what do I do here? Select count all as employees, select department as this. What does that mean? I can select all of this now, rerun it, and see, take note of what is currently here now. F0 department. Let's rerun it and see what happens. You can see we now have employees, and then we have department with DEPT as the name. The same results being generated though. The same result being generated, but we currently have department and employees as their names. Okay, I hope I'm making oops, I have exhausted my time. Wow, I've gone beyond my time. Okay, I will take one more. I'll take one more SQL query. And this time around, I just want to bring everything we've talked about so far. We've talked about where, talked about order, we've talked about ordering, and so on and so forth. Now let's write query number 8. Let's bring everything together into one query. And remember I said everything is like a building block, right? Remember just your semicolon. Let's say query number 8. Bring it all together. Bring it all together. This time around, I want my department. Now let's write a very nice query here. Let's write a very nice query here. Select my department. Now I'll do something I've not done since the beginning of this call. I'll write it on the next line. Select my department as this, comma. Select my count of employees as employees, comma. Select, what again can I select here? Select the okay, let's do it an average daily rate. Let's do average daily rate as rate. Let's do what again? I think that's enough. That's probably enough. Okay, let's add gender to it. Let's just keep it simple. We have selected departments. Let's add gender as I don't have to do gender or anything, comma. Okay, I've selected department, I've selected gender, I've selected count of employees, I've selected average. Now, just like what we had before, this error has come up again. Say, hey, you have given me another dimension field, which you're not aggregating. You have aggregated employees, you've aggregated daily rate, but this gender is not aggregated. What do you want me to do with it? As I said before, any field that you are always adding when you're aggregating, you must do what? You must group by it. But that's not what I wanted to put together. That's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say select all from all of this. Where, let me add my where clause. Before I do my group by, I do my where. I'm not deleting the one I've written, no, it's still there. My group by is there. Where, let's go and pick our previous where clause. Education field is marketing. Hope I'm not, no, let's not use education field. Let's use a different field that will have, let's use business travel, right? Let's use business travel, right? Let's use business travel. Let's use business travel. Actually, this is going to be too long for me to type. Let me use attrition. Where attrition is no. No, let's attrition. Where attrition is equal to no. All right. Okay. Select this particular fields, department, gender, count, employee as employees, average rate, where the attrition is no. Maybe I want to see for my current employees. All right. I want to see what this is meant to help with my current employees. Attrition equal to no means my current employees. I want to see them by their department and their gender, how many they are, and what's the average daily rate is at the moment. Okay. I can also choose to order by if I want to, but if I really need it at the moment, I can group by then order by. No, don't let me do that. So let's keep it at this for now. Select all of this where the attrition is no and the group by is grouping by department and gender. And the reason we are grouping by again is because we have our aggregation in our select, our count and our average. So once I run this, see what happens. Analytics at play in real time. We have now gotten our department. That is the query. That's the query. We've gotten our department. We've gotten our gender. We've gotten our employees. That's the count of employees, 204. We've now gotten the rate, average rate for this particular department and this particular what? Gender. If I scroll down, you will see sales, male, research, what's it called? Male, human resources, female, sales, female, research and development, female. You can see now that we have all our data currently. In fact, let me do that. Group by this, then order by. Now let's fix this. Let me order by let me order by department. Let me order by department and then the gender. Okay. So this time around, I want to order by department and gender in ascending order intentionally. All right. I want to order by department and gender intentionally so that they all be together. Once I run it again, you will see now human resource female, human resource male, research and development female, research and development. The results are still the same, just that the presentation right now is different. We have the number of department, we have the number of employees, and we have their average rate. I hope I've been able to do justice to SQL for you for a start. At this junction, I will stop and then take questions, comments, and feedback. Thank you. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you. So questions, comments from anybody. And if you like what you've seen so far, please, you can also you can react to it. Use all the emojis you have available on your system or your laptop or your phone, and right now to acknowledge what you've had today. Has this been helpful? Has this been helpful to you? As someone said, we clamped down a 1 month class into a 1 hour session. Thank you very much, Adolphus. Thank you. Has this been helpful to you? Has this been helpful? I hope this has been. Does anyone want to maybe unmute their mic quickly and speak on this before we round up? Anybody that found this particular session useful to them? Anybody who would like to help us here? I need someone from the class to do us the honors. Did you find the session interesting? Did you like it? Oh no, someone should speak. I'm having a shy class today. Who is going to help us with that?
Thank you for the class. I actually find it interesting. Yeah, I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Adolphus, for helping us there. I don't know to at least hear from one person. Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you. As I said earlier, let me invite you to our SQL class that is coming up. All right. If you're interested, just drop I'm interested, or just drop your name in the chat box. Or your name and email address. Someone's going to reach out to you right away so that they can enroll you for the next class. Okay. If you're interested, please do well to indicate. And for those who are attending this particular session today, all right, we're more than I'll be offering personalities from me. I didn't tell my team at this ahead of time, but I'll be offering this particular SQL class for 10K off. I'll be sending out for 40K. All right. For if you're interested in participating in this particular class, please do well to indicate your interest for those who attended this session only. Okay. So if you're interested in joining that particular SQL class, indicate your interest and someone is going to reach out to you and they're going to take this particular class for you at 40. And if you have any further questions to ask, please do well to reach out to us, hello@camanda.academy, and I'll be more than happy to reach out to you there. Of course, the offer is definitely limited before the next cohort starts. That's going to be for those who attended the session. Before the next cohort starts, please do well to sign up. Joel, your hand is up. Please, let's hear from you before we get out of here. Joel, your hand is up. Jesse.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Actually, it was a wonderful session, but I came late, and I'm interested. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to send an email for more inquiry, but I don't know whether slides for this session is available.
Yes, this recording we made available to you as soon as we have a turnaround time of somewhere between 48 hours maximum. Sorry, 24 hours maximum. This email will send out, as long as you register for this class, we'll send you this recording as part of your being a part of this session. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, everyone here is getting this particular recording. Everyone here. So
all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Okay, it's been my time. Anyone here who wants to round up for us? Who wants to do us the honors? Who wants to do us the honors on the team? Who wants to do us the honors at this point? No, my team, you people are not shy now. You people are not shy people. Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. New people cannot be shy at this point now. Jamil, please do us the honors, I beg. Do us the honors, do us the honors, do us the honors.
Okay. Thank you very much to all of you for attending this evening. And we are very glad that you really enjoyed the class, and some people are already showing interest, and we hope to see more, if possible, everyone back in the paid classes later on. So, okay, thank you. That's all. God bless everyone.
Thank you. Take care of yourself. Catch up on email and other means. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Manu.
Thank you.